Hi, everybody. I don't think Jeff Castle is 6 feet away from who he's sitting next to back there. I'm concerned. Is it 4 feet?
So Brett, how's the tower coming?
Power's up. We were testing it last night. Works good. Pumpkins are gonna die. They got it coming too.
What's the setup? I've seen the pictures of the towers, but what are the pumpkins going to crash on?
We're employing this thing that my friend Newton came up with called gravity. So we will have we lift the pumpkins up on a pulley. We put a couple of corkscrews in the side of them so it doesn't fall out. It turns out it's very difficult. We employed a number of NASA engineers to help us figure out a way to attach a pumpkin to a rope quickly, and they came up with two screw eyes that go into it. And then we lift it all the way up, and we set off air horns, and there's lights and all kinds of stuff going off, and then we drop the pumpkin. And then after that, gravity takes over. It's kind of reverse of a space launch. You know, it's like, we count down, and instead of going up, we go down.
Fair. Is there going to be like towns and cars and things for it to smash, or is it just going to go splat?
I'm afraid, yeah, I think it's just going to go splat because it happens so fast. It's hard to really see, the splat. And sometimes it takes a couple of hits. I mean, if you've got a rugged, well-built, a strong pumpkin who's been working out, you got to drop him 2 or 3 times to really get rid of everything. So if he's just still attached to the rope, he goes back up for another fall.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why it's not being done by families all over the place, but it's a good pastime that there are no winners or losers except for the pumpkins. They all lose. Yeah, so
I'm looking forward to it.
Lowry, you can come out. Now, I know you have to be socially distanced, so you can sit in your car across the parking lot and watch with some binoculars. It won't look weird when you're sitting in a car with binoculars and your beard staring at us.
And my children. Don't forget the children.
Yes. You'll stare at the children through the binoculars.
And my kids have got a wheelbarrow full of pumpkins, and they are actually kind of looking forward to it.
Oh, bring them over. That's good. Now, we won't drop the children unless you pay us. If you pay us and help us pull the rope, we will drop your children for you.
No, I'm not interested in that particular service.
Well, they can hold the pumpkin.
They can barely carry them. I got the big ones.
Yeah.
Is it just this weekend? Because my kids are out of town till Sunday.
Yeah, it's Friday and Saturday only. Yeah, we're just doing it at 7 o'clock on Friday and Saturday.
So I just need to drop my pumpkins off at 2 a.m. and you just have no idea where they came from.
You bring them by. I mean, I've got about 50 now, and I'm probably going to go around town and buy up another 50 or 60 more. I figure 50 a night ought to get everybody's interest going. Because what people are going to do is they're going to take the pumpkin and they're going to write on it with a Sharpie something they want to see drop. So it might be an ex-girlfriend or an ex-boyfriend or the year or, whatever. I expect to see more than a few Lowry Tuckers on there, and then we'll chant that as it goes up. So everybody standing around, drinking beer will be chanting Lowry all the way as it goes up, and then when it drops, it'll be a cathartic moment.
I'm glad I can bring that to the world.
Yeah. And we're gonna have some poll watchers there. They're gonna watch the polls. We've got a couple of polls on either side of the thing, and they'll keep track of how many pumpkins we drop.
Okay.
Yeah, one Republican, one Democrat.
I'm a registered independent.
Yeah, well, and that's good because they have to share the same beer. That's a way to make sure they trust each other.
Oh, boy.
Are we the only ones talking? Everybody else got real quiet.
I guess so.
Yeah. Something must have happened. Tim Quillen came down from his lofty perch up top, his ivory tower. He's now sitting down in the back row. He's moving in.
Have you guys found Micah's coffee?
Yes.
I had my first cup yesterday, and I had my second cup today. That's some great stuff.
How long have you been living in Waynesboro? Yeah, Lowry, how long have you been in Waynesboro?
Pardon me?
How long have you been living in Waynesboro that you were that many days old that you figured out Micah's is the bomb?
Hi,
I'm not sure. I don't know why it took so long.
come on in.
But, I'm more of an iced tea kind of guy. But I've got a new go-to now. She even remembered my order from yesterday.
Kelsey Shrek House, yep. She knows her stuff.
Frank, are you gonna celebrate Guy Fawkes Day or whatever it is, 5th of November?
Huh. No. Am I muted?
No, we can all hear you.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yes, you're still muted. We can't hear you.
You know, Guy Fawkes mask is waiting for next year's meeting, Halloween meeting.
Ah.
Well, I'm excited. My daughter is on today, of course, from Blacksburg.
Oh, that's right.
So she'll be joining us pretty soon.
I'm here.
There she is now.
Oh, there she is.
Hi.
Hey, Sonny.
Hey, Sonny.
And Sonny's mom and brother are on board as well.
All right. I've been
That's
looking forward
awesome.
to today's program because I know nothing about cheerleading.
You've got your own cheer section here, honey.
Woohoo, go Sonny Kate. Oh,
And I see
Lowry,
you-
thanks for your service on election day.
No problem. I had a really good time. But,
No, it's good to see you.
likewise. But, it was fun to geek out about it and just see how the whole process works. That was a lot of fun. I think I'll definitely do it again if I can.
How many of you have heard about our coat drive, our winter coat drive?
I have last week.
So there will be email going out about that. We'll be announcing it at the meeting as well. And eyeball your closet and see if you've got any gently used winter coats or gloves or hats that would be suitable. Bring them in, and if you can bring them into a meeting, or if you'd like them to be picked up, just leave a note with Rebecca Shin or with me or with Len, and we'll manage to get those coats up. We'll be collecting them the entire month of November.
All right. Done.
Hi, everyone. We got a good
Hi,
size.
Rebecca.
Hi. We got a good sized bag of coats already up at the Wayne here, so it's a good start.
Nice. Last year, I think we brought in close to 60 coats last year.
Oh no, we broke 100. Easy.
Did you?
Oh, that was the I'm sorry, that was the batch that I had. Actually, it was 59. I was collecting them here in my garage.
Yeah. We showed up strong on that one. That was good.
Okay, we'll get started here. Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians and guests. Our meeting is called to order. Please stand and join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
United
and
States
to
of
the
America.
republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Laura Hamp has our invocation.
Yes, good afternoon, everybody. Let's bow our heads and pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to connect today as Rotarians at a time when our mission truly has heightened significance and can be all the more impactful. As we deal with the challenges of a pandemic, political division, we pray that you will strengthen the pursuit of our mission, and that is to provide service to others, to promote integrity, to advance world understanding, goodwill, and peace. And at this time, may we be ever mindful of our vision to see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting positive change, be it in our communities and in ourselves. We ask that you accept our thanks for the meal that some of us have shared together today, and we're grateful for the opportunity to offer our time, talents, and resources to serve others. We pray you will continue to bless our efforts as we strive to live a life of service above self. Amen.
Amen. Tracy has our song. We'll hear it, Hokies. You may have a seat. Let us practice unification and tolerance. Okay, Margaret has our introduction of visiting Rotarians and guests.
Yes.
We have, sorry, wait for the microphone. Sorry, it's coming.
So we have Mike and Nina Gable joining us as visiting Rotarians once again. We welcome them back. And we also have on Zoom today Mary Mannix and Bobby Carey as Frank's guests.
Hi, Mary and Bobby. Welcome. Happy dollars. Okay. Oh, later. I'll do that. Mm-hmm. Christy.
I got one.
Oh, hold on one second.
I have a happy dollar because my children are going back to school next week and they're very excited. So big support of the Waynesboro school systems and getting the kids back in the buildings.
Len. Yeah. Len? There
I
you
didn't
go.
have one. I was clapping.
Oh, you didn't have a dollar?
I think Laura,
Happy dollar?
Yeah, I got one.
Okay, we'll move it to Larry.
I got a chance to work the polls last Tuesday. I was in Ward D, and a shout out to all of my fellow Rotarians I saw throughout the day. It was fun in that really geeky way, and I had a really great time. So if you ever get a chance to do that, I hope you all take a day and just get to see what it looks like behind the scenes.
Thanks for serving.
My pleasure.
Charlie?
So this is sort of a follow-up to that lovely prayer that Laura read this morning. I don't know how many of you are familiar with Facebook, but our good Rotarian friend Jim Hyson made a post
Sorry.
Everybody. There you go.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Made a post that I would like to read in part, keeping aside that we are not a political organization, but we are in an environment that necessitates us being friends and genteel. So this is what he wrote on Facebook. So here we are. If your guy wins, good for you. If my guy wins, good for me. Our country needs healing. On that issue, we can agree. Let's make a pact, you and I. Let's work to heal the wound, not make it worse. Putting our blind faith in politicians in Washington or Richmond or wherever state you reside in will get you nowhere. I'm going to skip ahead. Let you and I stop hiding behind our keyboards, pick our behinds up from our easy chairs, and go out into our communities and make them a better place to live. Let's spend our energy helping our local youths, elderly, minorities, homeless, and whatever your cause, instead of regurgitating snarky posts that are 95% false or do nothing but pour salt in the wound. You choose to stay behind the keyboard, you're part of the problem. Be the solution. And for the love of God or whatever deity you pray to, if you must continue the snarky post, please leave the vulgarity out. You're angry, I get it. Be civil. You lose all credibility with the vulgarity. What a nice post from our good friend, Jim Hyson.
Thank you, Charlie. Thank you, Jim. Francine?
Can I use this speaker?
I'm not sure if it's on. Tim's getting his exercise today.
Exercise is good, I hear.
Yes, so those in the auditorium today have gotten a copy of their gear post. For the rest of you, that'll be posted online. But my happy dollar is actually for Lynn, who has, in the last couple of days, has refreshed our webpage. There's lots of new pictures, and I encourage you to go and visit that. Thank you, Lynn.
Thank you. Any other happy dollars? Don't want to miss anybody. Okay. Going to Secretary's minutes. Marianne is still out, but just wanted to continue to keep Marianne in your thoughts and send positive vibes as she recovers from her arm and foot injuries. Also keep Steve and Sarah Howlett in your thoughts as Sarah's brother recently passed, and he's on traveling now. A really quick letter from Salvation Army. In the gear post, it let you know that we had donated $500 toward their Need Knows No Season campaign. And so their letter says, "Dear friends, we are truly thankful for friends like you. Thank you for supporting the work of the Waynesboro Salvation Army with your Need Knows No Season contribution of $500. It is only through gifts like yours that we can provide hope and relief to our neighbors in need. Your kindness and generosity will assist in providing emergency services such as homelessness prevention, utility assistance, and food." And thank you from Lieutenant Rachel Pruitt. Okay, on to announcements. The November board meeting will be next Monday, 4:30 p.m. on Zoom. And as Frank had mentioned, the winter coat drive is on. So remember, it is going through November 30th. Please bring them here to the Wayne on Thursdays. Otherwise, let me or Rotarian Frank Carey know if we can arrange a pickup. Okay, kind of go along the lines of the prayer today and Charlie's reading. It's a quote by Rotary founder Paul P. Harris. He says, "May Rotarians continue to be ambassadors of goodwill to high and low, rich and poor, to all races, to the devotees of all religious faiths and to members of all political parties, purveyors of tolerance, forbearance, justice, kindliness, neighborliness, and friendliness to the inhabitants of the snug little world, the best little world of which we know." All right, Barrett, would you please read Object of Rotary?
The object of Rotary is to encourage and foster the ideal of service as a basis of worthy enterprise, and in particular, encourage and foster, first, the development of acquaintance of an opportunity for service. Second, high ethical standards in business and professions, the recognition of the worthiness of all useful occupations, and the dignifying of each Rotarian's occupation as an opportunity to serve society. Third, the application of the ideal of service in each Rotarian's personal, business, and community life. Fourth, the advancement of international understanding, goodwill, and peace through a world fellowship of business and professional persons united in the ideal of service.
Thank you. And Jeff, if you'll introduce our guest.
Thank you, President Shin. An honor to have this presenter today. Again, these Zoom meetings have allowed us an opportunity to reach out beyond our typical borders and bring people in with some fascinating programs. And even though she may not be in Waynesboro, she's certainly not far away from us and familiar with Rotary. It's a pleasure to be introducing Sonny Carey today. She's a Waynesboro High graduate, hence wearing the purple. Go Little Giants. Current senior at Virginia Tech. Never been so happy to see the Hokie song in Rotary. Mike, you did it justice. Majoring in animal and poultry science, pre-veterinary track, minor in women's and gender studies. Waiting to hear back from a couple vet schools right now. She says she'll either be attending in the fall or taking a gap year. She is a senior on Virginia Tech's cheerleading team, and today she's going to be talking about that experience, what it's been like, how she manages her time, and her independent study, which she did in relation to the Virginia Tech Spirit Squad and how it corresponds to my minor. She's also very familiar with our Rotary work through the values that she gets from her father, and people may not be aware that all those cool Virginia Tech signed items that are on our fundraiser that raise $400, $500 every time, that's Sonny out there banging on some doors and getting those signatures. So Sonny, it's great having you here with us today. You make us proud, and I will ask you to join me in welcoming Sonny Carey.
Hi guys, I'm really excited to talk to everyone today. I've been a cheerleader since I was little and I did gymnastics before that. So I'm really excited to talk to you about like the program, and I could just go on forever. So I'm going to share my screen with you because I have a little presentation to do. Okay, share screen, desktop 1. Okay, sorry, I'm trying to... Okay, wait. I think, is the screen sharing enabled? Does anyone know?
Let me see.
Yeah, it should be.
Okay.
You may have to select the image of the screen you want to show.
Okay, it might make me leave and then, okay, wait, maybe now it's working.
There you go.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, indeed.
Okay, perfect. So I'm gonna pull up my presentation. Okay, play from the start. All right, so we're gonna talk a little bit about Virginia Tech cheerleading and the program. I'm excited. Okay, so I'm just gonna introduce myself a little bit like Jeff did. So I'm an animal and poultry science major on the pre-vet track, and I have an emphasis in companion animals. So I wanna work with dogs and cats, and I have a minor in women's and gender studies, which I'm really passionate about. So I'm a senior and I've done Virginia Tech cheerleading all 4 years. I've been on the nationals team for the cheerleading team all 4 years and a 4-year varsity letter winner. So I'm like very committed and enthusiastic. Like Jeff said, I'm from Waynesboro, and my dad is obviously, as you guys know, Frank Carey. And then my mom is, and my brother I think are here, and they're Mary Mannix and Bobby Carey. And I love them, and I'm really happy to be like sharing this fun little experience with them. Okay. So today, like an overview of what I want to talk to you guys about. I'm going to talk about, one, what cheerleading is, because a lot of people think it's like rah rah, like the pom-poms, it's not a sport. And that's like my biggest pet peeve, because I've committed so much of my life and time to this. So I just want to let you guys on like what it is, so like you can know that it is a sport and it does require a lot of athletic ability. But beyond that, we're going to talk about practices, games, competitions, and like within that a little bit of time management, because that's definitely been a struggle for me, like as like a STEM major. We're going to talk a little bit about Virginia Tech culture. I loved the Hokie fight song that was playing. Like I know all the words to it. I have the band chant dance I have to know for it. And within that, like community outreach, sort of like you guys do at Rotary, that's a big part of being a cheerleader. And then I'm going to talk to you guys about last summer, I did research on the Virginia Tech Spirit Squad. So what I was saying earlier was that sometimes people don't think cheerleading is a sport. So a lot of the times we're treated as like a second class sport at Virginia Tech, whether it's like intentional or not. So within my research, I asked my fellow Spirit Squad members, it was like IRB approved, so it was very official, about their experience as Spirit Squad members, and I did surveys and research and interviews. So I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about that. And yeah, I'm excited. Okay, so let's get started. And if anyone like has any questions, you can just cut me off, or if I go over my time, just cut me off. Okay. So what is cheerleading? So this is like the confusing. There's different types. So there's competitive cheerleading, which is like what I did in high school, and that's like all-star, and that's the big bows and the sparkles and everything like that. And there's sideline cheerleading, which is who you see on the girls you see on the sideline of the football team. Some girls do both, some girls do one or the other. I particularly, before I came to Virginia Tech, was not a very good sideline cheerleader. I just wasn't very interested as much. But then when I came to Virginia Tech, I had a lot more fun with it. So that brings us into collegiate cheerleading. So that's a combination of like competition and sideline. We cheer for football games, we cheer for basketball games, we make appearances at wrestling and volleyball, like all of the above. But we also have a competition we attend every year in January called UCA Nationals, and we have a routine for that, which we like practice all through winter break. So that's really cool. And then a big part of collegiate cheerleading is like community outreach, and I spend a lot of my time like doing volunteering opportunities and whatnot. So we're gonna talk a little bit about that. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so now I'm gonna talk about the athleticism required. It is not just like rah-rah dancing around. We have stunts, pyramids, basket tosses, tumbling, band chants, and then like, as I said, community outreach, like kindness and charisma is a big part of it, like talking to people on game days and whatnot, which I'll get a little bit more into. So speaking of like all these like athletic abilities, I'm gonna show you a short little video I put together of like me and my teammates, some of the videos of the stunts and pyramids and whatnot. Okay, so I'm gonna go over to that. And I'm gonna make it full screen. Okay, so here's a little video, and I'll explain to you guys like sort of what's going on in the video so you can see like the different athletic aspects and sort of what we do. And you get to see some cool flips. Okay. I think it's black. Oh, I don't know if it's gonna, can you guys see it? Are you just seeing black?
We see the player just black.
Oh gosh, I don't know if it's gonna let me do it at the same time. Can you guys, yeah,
we can see your,
my like iMovie screen?
yes, correct. And we can actually see it playing across.
Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna let me because it's not up in the corner. That's sort of a bummer.
Oh.
Well, that's okay. I wonder, at the end, if we have time, I can try to fool around with it a little longer and see if I can get those to play for you guys, because that would be really cool. I guess it's like because my video is on or something. But I'll just go back to my presentation. So, and like kind of explain a little further. So stunts is like, you see them all the time. You have the boys holding the girls up and whatnot. And then pyramids, that's when everyone comes together and you stack the girls on top of each other and everything. And then you have basket tosses, which is where you throw them really high up. They do a couple flips, a couple spins, they come back down. And then we have tumbling, which I'm sure you guys have seen. And then we have band chants. So when you hear all the band playing, we have like specific dances and like chants that go to each of those. And all of this like encompasses it. And like different aspects of athleticism require like strength and flexibility. And like we run a mile before every practice. Like it's not just, it gets like a rep that it's just dancing around and doing chants, and that's just not like what it is. I'm bummed that video wouldn't work because I really wanted to show you guys some of the things, but it's more than, and I have some pictures though, which will be like helpful, I think. Okay. So I'm just gonna tell you guys like a little bit about my schedule and my commitment. So I have practice on Monday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from 6 p.m. to 9:30. That's kind of hard because there is like time management. And when I first came to college, I did well with time management, but I had never been on such a strict schedule. And it was, if I didn't get my homework done before practice, I wasn't going to. Or like, you need to just, it forces you to put in the time or else there's no other option, if that makes sense. I then have lifting. We do lift. The cheerleaders and dancers all lift on Tuesdays and Thursdays for an hour. I just actually got back from lift today, so excuse my appearance. We then have games and appearances. So on football season, we obviously have games on Saturdays. Basketball, they're throughout the week. Sometimes they're on the weekend. And then, like I said earlier, we do wrestling and volleyball and whatnot. And then, like, within that, we do different appearances throughout the week. Like, one of my favorite ones was when we had the Frank Beamer statue unveiled at Virginia Tech, and, like, cheerleaders were there for that and, like, a part of it. Or we got our new basketball coach a year or two back ago. I think it was last year. And I got to be there at the, in Castle Coliseum to greet him. So that's, like, a big part of, like, the community and appearances. And that takes up a good chunk of your time. We then have tumbling on Sundays from 8 to 9 p.m. And the reason our practices are kind of late, like I don't know if you noticed, but 6 to 9:30 and then like 8 to 9 is because of facility, since we are not less of a priority, but a little bit sometimes in regard to like football and other sports, a little bit less of a priority. It's hard for us to get the facility access. So we sort of get like the later time slots, which is okay, but it's something to like be mindful of. And then, like I said, we have our competition in Orlando, Florida every January. And we come back after Christmas break and train really intensely for that competition. So on an average week, I spend greater than 20 hours like devoted to my time as a cheerleader, which is kind of a lot, especially balancing it with school and trying to have a healthy like social life. So it's a big commitment. And a lot of people don't think, oh, it's sort of more of a hobby. It's not. It's like I've been committed to cheerleading for the past 4 years of my life. And I've missed out on a lot of opportunities because of it, like trips and whatnot. But it ends up, for me, being really worth it because I do love it. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about what a game day looks like from the perspective of a cheerleader. I know you guys have probably all been to Virginia Tech football games, but it's a little different when you're on the field. So this was a game, this is the Wake Forest game last year, and I think kickoff was at 3:35. So we had to be at Hokie Village, which is sort of like, I don't know if you guys have been there, but it's like an area where they have setups and booths for like fundraising and for kids, and you just kind of can walk around and play cornhole. And we have to be there as cheerleaders to interact with the fans and like get them excited. And it's a really good time, and I love talking to people, especially the little kids, and hanging out with them. We take pictures with everyone. So for like a 3:35 game, we have to be at Hokie Village at 11:55. So then we hang out there for a while, and then we go meet in the back gym to all like be together, walk back outside for Hokie Walk. I don't know if you're a Virginia Tech fan, if you've ever been out there for that. That's when the cheerleaders sort of line up Beamer Way, and we greet the football players and they come in. And then after that, we all split up, and some people go back to Hokie Village, some people walk around to tailgates to interact with fans, then other people go to the gates to greet people coming into the gates for the game. And I'd like to say we do this no matter rain, snow, sleet, freezing, hot, no matter what. And trust me, I'm not a girl that likes the cold, so it's kind of a lot. So then we go back to the back gym and all meet together. We get our equipment, so we have signs, megaphones, whatever else there is. You know, in Stadium Yell, how we have those giant Let's Go signs. Those are hard to carry, but sometimes we carry those to the field. We then warm up. If you ever are at the game like an hour or so early, you'll see us warming up on the field, which is a lot of fun. My mom would always come early and cheer for us warming up on the field. This particular game, I think, was Bud Foster's last game. So there was a Bud Foster ceremony, the national anthem, Stadium Yell, and Enter Sandman, and then there's kickoff. So this is an all-day endeavor. And then you got to do your hair and makeup, because that's a part of it. It's like a part of the kind of culture of the sport. And that takes a long time too. So I probably woke up before 8 a.m. for this game. But that's just sort of like an inside look at what game day looks like from the perspective of a cheerleader. And people always ask me if we win a game, oh, did you just go out and celebrate afterwards? Not often, because I'm so tired afterwards, I just want to go home and sleep. but sometimes we do celebrate if it was a really big win. Okay, so here's some pictures for game day. So up left is a picture of me and my old teammate Steven. He's actually from Crozet area, which is cool. That's us signing autographs in Hookie Village, which was really fun. You feel like a little celebrity. To the right is me and my mom and my dad. They've been so supportive, and they come to almost every game, and they tailgate. And it's just like, it makes me really happy to have them there because this is such a big part of my life. So the bottom picture is an example of a pyramid, which I was going to show you, but so that's me on top. I'm a top girl. I'm pretty little, so those two other girls are holding me up, and they're standing on top of other boys. So it's a lot of fun. Sometimes it's scary. People always ask me if I get dropped. Pyramids fall all the time, but I'm usually caught. There's been an occasion where I've rolled my ankle or something and didn't get caught, but it's a lot of fun. And then this picture on the right is one of my favorites. I think it's really cool. So in this one, we have two top girls in the air, and that's one of my good friends, Kelsey. So that's just like a little look into what game day is for me. Okay, I want to talk a little bit more about time management because this is something I feel like everyone can benefit from and I can benefit from it. So it was a learning curve. My freshman year of college, just checking my time, okay. I did not do as well as I would have liked to. I didn't do badly, I didn't fail anything. But I was so excited with like going to parties and like I had cheerleading practice that I just didn't dedicate enough time to my schoolwork as I should have. And then I found a planner and I realized, oh, if I write all this down and like time it out and make sure I do it, then it changed my life. Literally my grades went up. I was able to like fit like social things and just have a better balance in my life. So this is just like, it was a big learning curve for me that I like took throughout the rest of my life, that I plan everything and schedule everything. And I think that's something, if you're ever feeling overwhelmed, which I feel a lot sometimes, it's really important. And I just like couldn't talk about my experience as a cheerleader without talking about my big experience in learning time management. And it was different than high school because I did sports all throughout high school and I dedicated a lot of time to it. But I always had my parents kind of over my shoulder like, you get your homework done? And when I came to college, I did not have that any longer. So I really had to hold myself accountable. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about Virginia Tech culture. Here's a picture of me holding a crying baby. So I know you guys have probably heard our motto, ut prosum, and that means that I may serve. And I take this personally like a big part of community outreach. Within the Virginia Tech cheerleading team, we have VPIs, which are representatives that spend a little extra time doing community outreach. I love talking to people. I love reaching out to the community like my dad. So I'm a VPI and I do like extra appearances and things. Like last year I went to an elementary school and read to the little kids. And one of the kids actually asked me if I was new there. And I informed him I was not. So I guess he took my height a little too seriously. And then a couple of my friends and I went to the Carillion Children's Hospital and visited kids there, which was a lot of fun. We do the Drive for 25 every year, which raises money for athletics. We're on the phone calling people, which is hard. It's hard to do that, but it's a lot of fun. We do kids clinics, which is always a lot of fun. I love interacting with the little kids. And then we do clinics for prospective cheerleaders. So a big part of it is just like helping the community, and like a lot of it is in tradition, which I really enjoy. And I think that's a big part of Virginia Tech. Okay, so this is what I'm really excited to talk to you guys about. So last summer my teammates and I sometimes feel like a second-class sport at Virginia Tech. And there's some reasons for that. Our locker room is really small. We don't have ideal practice times because of not very good access to facilities. We're often overlooked when it comes to a lot of things. So I wanted to talk about that to my teammates, and then I wanted to get deeper into some stereotypes within cheerleading, like the stereotypes that cheerleaders are like Barbies, or they're mean, or they're dumb. And that was really important to me because I just wanted to kind of disprove that stereotype and see how many cheerleaders still felt that way in 2020, even though it seems like an older stereotype. I also wanted to talk about like eating disorders and body dysmorphia because it is present in cheerleading, and it's present in a lot of female women's sports, especially at the collegiate level, and it's something that's important to address. So this is a qualitative study, and as I said, the primary purpose was to gain insights from the Spirit Squad members about their experience. I did this with my minor advisor, which was really cool. She was really helpful and interested in it. So if we look in our right, we have this graph, and it asks the Spirit Squad members, boys and girls, if they felt they were at the bottom of a hierarchy at Virginia Tech Athletics, with like football being at the top, and then you have basketball, and then it sort of goes from there. And if you look on the right, every single person answered very much or absolutely. Which just puts it in perspective. The Spirit Squad is big. We have over 60 people on it, and every single person said they felt they were at the bottom of that hierarchy. If you look down, like right below it, they asked, do you feel like you're overlooked by VT Athletics? And most people, again, said yes. And we're not like blaming VT Athletics for this or anything. It's just something to be aware of in the future so we can gain more representation as cheerleaders and dancers. So then another image I have at the bottom right is on body image and health. So I want to talk about like eating disorder resources and if people were satisfied with them. It was pretty in the middle. Some people were and some people were not. It's gotten better actually. I'm on a team in Virginia Tech Athletics called Hokie Women Rise. So I'm a representative for the Spirit Squad, and we bring the female athletes together in monthly Zoom meetings, and we talk about things like eating disorders, and our next meeting is actually about the coming election, and just to sort of unite the female Hokie athletes together. And last week we had a really good seminar on eating disorders and body image and good resources provided. So I personally have been very satisfied with them, but it's important to inform people that they do have these resources or else we can't do good with them. If you look a little closer, they'd ask, have you seen a teammate with an eating disorder? It's a pretty good spread. Girls often felt the need to be smaller, while boys felt the need to be bigger. That's kind of common. You think the boys want the muscles, the girls want to be tiny so they can be lifted. And then we talked about if coaches were aware of the eating disorders and personal eating disorders. And that was just like a big thing I wanted to touch on because I think it's really important and it's often seen as like a taboo within cheerleading. So that was my research, and if anyone has like further questions on it, I'd love to talk to you guys about it because I committed a lot of my time to it and I had a lot of fun with it. And in the future, I plan to go to VT Athletics and like discuss a little bit about my research and what I found and how we can do things better for the program. That's not going to be for a little bit because of COVID-19, but I am excited about it. Okay, so let's check my time. How much time do I have? Do I have time to read like a 1.5 minute thing, or should we stop for questions?
You're good.
I think you got time for a 1.5 minute thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so I wrote this during my independent study. My advisor had me write this paper about how I felt cheerleading has shaped me, and I'm gonna read you guys a little modified version of it. Here's some more pictures. That's me doing a basket toss at a game. That's me in high school actually cheerleading, sideline, the one time I did it. And that's me as a little kid doing all-star cheerleading. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen so I can read you guys this thing, if I can figure out how to do it.
It should be right at the top bar. It should be a red button that says stop share. If you move your cursor to the top, it'll come down.
Like up here?
Or you're in an Apple, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a little different. It might be down the bottom then.
I'm figuring it out.
There's a thing that's to stop share. It's a pop-up menu. So if you hover at the bottom of your Zoom screen, maybe, or it should be, I know on a Windows machine, it's in the middle of the screen.
I know, I don't know why it's being so, maybe if oh, I see it. I saw it. Where'd it go?
You know
Okay.
what? I can.
I did it.
All right, good.
Okay, so now I'm just gonna read you guys this, and then I'm more than happy to answer some questions. Okay. So, a big part, like I said, my minor is women and gender studies, and a big part of that is feminism. And I'm not gonna go on like a big rant about like what feminism is, but to me, feminism is equality for everyone. So I just wanna like keep that in mind when I mention it in this paper. So here it is. The title is, I believe femininity doesn't take away from athletic ability. Feminism is equality for everyone. My experience as a cheerleader has played a large role in my thinking as a feminist and that everyone has the right to be treated equally. Inequality is prevalent in cases of race, religion, income, and gender. It is present on smaller scales and scales that may seem insignificant, such as a little girl who's told by her male counterparts that her sport is silly. It's not a real sport. It is present when that little girl grows up and she is called mean names because she participates in the sport of cheerleading. I was that little girl. My mom enrolled me in gymnastics classes almost as soon as I could walk. I truly don't remember a time where I couldn't do a cartwheel or back handspring. As a little girl, I loved the pretty leotards and matching scrunchies, but I also loved the acrobatics and the various challenges of the different events. Each event required a different aspect of athleticism as well as fearlessness. Gymnastics was a sport that taught me discipline, which ultimately affected my relationship with feminism, making it more profound. Gymnastics discipline and training taught me will and determination, and I now utilize these attributes almost every day. In all the years I did gymnastics, I, nor anyone else I ever encountered, ever questioned whether it was a real sport. I believe that's the way it should be. I switched over to cheerleading when I was 10 because gymnastics became too competitive and time-consuming. I wasn't spending 5 days, 20 hours a week in the gym, plus a 45-minute commute each way. I did my homework in the car, and I couldn't play with my friends after school because I had to get straight to practice. There was pressure in gymnastics to further skills I didn't feel comfortable doing, and there were consequences if I failed to do so. There were countless hours of perfecting a toe point I didn't care to perfect. It simply wasn't fun anymore. Gymnastics became a source of anxiety for me more so than an outlet of stress. That's when I switched over to cheerleading, and in contrast, cheerleading was fun. I fell in love with the sport almost immediately. I loved to tumble and perform, and cheerleading was just a giant floor routine you got to perform with your teammates. In gymnastics competitions, we were told to be clean-cut, no makeup, hair sleeked back, which was fine, but it wasn't exactly feminine. In cheerleading, there were sparkly uniforms, unique music, giant bows, extravagant makeup, and big hair. These aspects of cheerleading allowed me to embrace my femininity while displaying my athletic ability. Society overlooks the extreme athletic ability required to perform the acrobats and stunts because of the makeup and smiles. They don't realize that the look doesn't take away from our athletic ability. It just adds to the overall culture of the sport. My own dad, who you guys know, who's an avid feminist and my biggest supporter, couldn't see past the hair and makeup aspect of my sport until he actually came and watched one of my practices. Furthermore, society uses the fact that appearance and presentation make up such a large part of cheerleading, not only to take away from our athletic ability, but to inflict stereotypes upon us. I believe the sport you play shouldn't categorize you into any stereotypical boxes. Why would it? Slowly, over time, like through my research, we will break out of those boxes. I believe in equality. I believe that feminine aspects of an activity add to a sport rather than take away from it. I believe in treating others with respect and not making hurtful assumptions about them based on a sport or career path. Cheerleading has taught me not to succumb to defeat when people stereotype or disrespect me. I will use my will and determination to fight for my beliefs. As cheerleaders and as members of any activity, the action we take and the boxes we break are vital to feminism as a whole. Okay, I swear I'm done talking. I know I've been talking for a while. But I just wanted to talk, it's my whole life, so I'm really enthusiastic about it. And I'm really happy I was able to share it with you guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed it too. And if anyone has any questions, obviously I'm more than happy to answer them.
Thank you, Sonny. Do we have questions?
Yeah.
Jim White's got a question, looks like.
Ken has one real quick, and then we can go back.
Yeah,
Jim, you'll have time to
given your major and
microphone
your
ready.
athletic participation, do you have an opinion on the controversial subject of men who transition to being a woman being allowed to compete in women's sports?
So that's a really great question. I personally haven't had that experience yet, but I know I've heard of it, and I know it's a situation in other collegiate sports. I personally don't have a problem with it, and I definitely wouldn't have a problem with it in the aspect of cheerleading. But I know I can understand the reasoning why some people, how females in their sports would feel maybe at a disadvantage. I can understand that. But I personally do not have a problem with it, nor do I think I would have a problem if that happened on my team.
Jim?
My son was a cheerleader at JMU.
Yeah?
And knowing some of the attitudes that guys particularly had toward him because he was a cheerleader and not a football player, I wonder if you've talked with your male counterparts about the attitudes that they have to deal with as well.
Yeah, I absolutely did. So when we talked about stereotypes in my research, I reached out to the girls about their stereotypes, and a lot of them were being dumb or being mean. And then I talked to the men on the team, and a big stereotype in that was being gay. And only one, there's over 20 plus guys on my team, only one of them is gay. And I talked to the guys about how they felt about it, and they like the sport so much, and a lot of these guys did high school athletics, and that's why they came to college and didn't want to do football or anything like that, but they found cheer, and they found like the athletic part of it, and they were really excited about it. But I did talk to them, and a lot of them were discouraged by that stereotype. And I know we've lost potential team members a little bit because of it. I know it's a factor, and it's definitely still prominent today, and it's something like we still have to work out of. But you're absolutely right. That was the most answered question on my survey. I said, men, like, do you feel like you've been put into a certain stereotype, and what that stereotype was?
Thank you.
Yeah.
And Kevin, last question?
Hey, Sonny, thanks for your presentation. I was wondering, do you find that in your gender studies that your classmates or professors who are there to like be supportive have built-in prejudices against cheerleading?
That's a great question. No, not at all. We've talked about a little bit like about sorority girls in some of my classes and whatnot, and sometimes it can create, like certain people in the class kind of like a stigma is created around them. But I've never had that experience as a cheerleader. Everyone's always been really supportive and thinks it's really cool, which makes me really happy because it means they haven't placed me into those stereotypical boxes, or if they have, they got to know me first before acting on them or being rude. And it was really cool because my professor that actually, you would think maybe the professors, I had a professor, a chemistry professor once, that sort of resented the fact I was a cheerleader and wouldn't let me switch my time for a test. She was like, you're not playing in the game. And I was like, but I haven't ever had that experience within my women and gender study class. And my minor, the person that did my women and gender studies, she was my advisor for my research. She actually reached out to me first and said, hey, I want to talk to you about your experience as a cheerleader at Virginia Tech and how you see feminism within it. Would you like be willing to talk to me about that? And I was like, oh my God, yes. And that's kind of how my research came about. So yeah.
Very good. Thank you, Sonny, for sharing your experience. It's definitely eye-opening for me.
And I can send that video because I think it's a cool video you guys may enjoy. Maybe I can send it to Jeff Fife or Len or someone, and they can like do it in a forward or something like that.
Sure.
Sonny, if you send it to me, I'll post it on our website.
Perfect, okay.
If you're okay with that.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Awesome. And it felt like yesterday when you were entering VTech and now you've grown up, you know. We've seen you grow up, so it's exciting. Thank you so much. We would like to thank Nina for coming again with Mike. Mary Mannix, Bobby Carey, thanks for supporting Sonny and joining us today. And Charlie had a really he will do it next week. All right. So next week we have Walter Hughes joining us and to speak about Rotary Foundation. Please stand for the four-way test. Of the things we think, say, or do. First, second, third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? And fourth, will it be beneficial to all? Be well. Meeting adjourned.